what is MK Ultra mind control? It is an experiment which started, I believe it was in the 1960s. I learned about it in philosophy class, and it was in psychology, um, where volunteers um, were taken into an experimental room, and they had signed a contract to be tortured, just to see how they reacted behaviorally to the torture. Well, here they are being tortured and want to naturally withdraw the consent for this torture experiment, and they are not allowed to withdraw their consent to this torture experiment, um, which is examining their behavioral reactions to stimuli. And from this, they learned how to control human behavior and also mind control. So I think a lot of this was continuously used during the era where Our Lady predicted the eras of Russia would be spread, and that is to say, the eras of communism. Needless to say, the eras of communism came tumbling down when Pope John Paul II consecrated Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. The MK Ultra mind control, what does it involve? It involves very much what exists in our culture from generation to generation without us necessarily realizing that we as a people have been using it. And some of us are more conscious about these abuses than others because it is a generational learned device. So that children are brought up as youngsters with love and normalcy, and then they are this love and normalcy and school of love is turned into berating, lecturing, hitting, and hollering at children at the top of the lungs. And these this constant hollering could happen domestically or in school. It could happen under treatment. And then this again is in turn followed by extreme isolation. Now, isolation is considered to be maltreatment and malpractice. There is no treatment which justifies that there's no such thing as seclusionary treatment. It is abuse. And with MK Ultra mind control, this is used. So, loving treatment followed by torture, that is to say, like psychopathic rage, followed by complete isolation, and then a negative reinforcement, which would be, or a positive reinforcement, which the negative reinforcement is the removal of the punishment. The positive reinforcement is a reward for the behavior that is being triggered into the victim. So some of the trigger words of desire have been with the use of double entendre very often time. And you'll see that in Hollywood. Now, hallucinogenic drugs can be used, but they don't have to be used. If the torture is profound enough, the double entendre is a trigger word that may or may not succeed, along with, other types of abuses such as blackmail. And people working for the government, especially on the Democratic side, or some people say especially on the Republican side, they're both very versed at how to use MK Ultra to produce slavery, especially within the black market, sex cult and human trafficking, as well as the Hollywood industry and their stardom for the performances desired to make huge amounts of money for the Illuminati. The Illuminati were formed within the Vatican, actually. Freemasonry and Illuminati are the mystic schools of Babylon. There's another one too, a third one, which I'm not too familiar with it, but I heard it in some abbreviated fashion. So these cults are Jesuit controlled. The Jesuits trained the Illuminati, and the Freemasonry were supposed to be antagonists of both those mystic schools, but they have now come head to head with the Illuminati and shake hands. So anyhow, when I talked about my soul out of body experiences and the illuminated cross of Moonbeam, and that they were streams of clouds lit up over a small host of a moon, and that the Blessed Mother had appeared to me preceding this prodigy in the night sky, and that I had come face to face with the lunar eclipse on soul travel. Naturally, we're going to get Illuminati affiliates interested, which I am not. So not falling for the advice to research Illuminati and Freemasonry in the Catholic Encyclopedia. Not falling for it. The Blessed Virgin appeared in Fatima and warned us against Freemasonry. So anyhow, these things did happen, and because love was present in my out-of-body space trip, then I understand it to be guided by the Lord, and that it was His attempt to assist me in this escape from MK Ultra. Anyway, I take offense with double entendre. I do not want it for myself or for my offspring, nor do I want it for any human person to be used as a trigger toward these ends.